I'm Christine Quinn, the president and CEO of Win Women in Need. And as we all know, before the pandemic, one of the most vexing problems in this city was homelessness. And 65 to 70% of the homeless in New York City are families with children. What's one of the things that causes homelessness? Unemployment or underemployment. What has been made worse by the pandemic? Unemployment and underemployment. And who is hit hardest by this? Women and women of color. In fact, 1 million more women were made unemployed by the pandemic than men. Now, this is an addressable and fixable problem. This is not a disease we don't have a cure to. The cure to unemployment and underemployment is a good paying job. But there are a series of things that homeless women need to be put into that position. Where are often homeless women and homeless families? In shelters. Whether we like it or not, that's where they are. At Win, we house 10% of all the the homeless families. Our numbers are statistically significant. The average stay at Win is 15 months. Again, whether we like it or not, we have a period of time in which we can address this unemployment and underemployment issue. So what should the city do? One, it should fund true job placement, job training, income building programs in the shelters and in supportive housing. We have one in our shelters. It's good. It's not great. But not every shelter has the resources we do to raise private money. Two, they need to make sure that program addresses why it's hard for homeless and poor women to get jobs. One, a lack of education. So let's make sure every shelter, every women's shelter, family shelter, has GED offered free on site. That doesn't exist. Let's create true linkages between shelters and supportive housing and CUNY. CUNY has great, obviously, ongoing education programs, but also certificate programs that will open up jobs for women. Three, let's bring our private sector into the shelters to help. Often, private sector companies need a little good press. I'm not saying, I'm just saying sometimes they have problems, you know what I mean? And if they were to come in and do the certificate courses their industries need, it would make a huge difference. For example, a food handler's license class costs $500 to $700. I can't pay for that for our moms, and our moms can't pay for it. But if the supermarket and food industry came in and did it in shelters for free, it would open up managerial jobs in supermarkets for moms, as well as other positions. Now, what's the hardest thing once our moms get jobs at Win? Child care when they leave shelter. We provide it at Win, but it only goes till 5 o'clock. Two, being harassed and discriminated on the job. So we need to make sure that shelters have more funding and resources to have longer child care. We had a one-time significant grant from Airbnb where we did a pilot till 7 p.m. It helped with job retention at our biggest shelter significantly. Let's grow that model. Two, let's make sure when people leave shelter, they already have their child care voucher and a slot in the new neighborhood they're going to. Let's not send them out the door with a job, but no place for childcare that matches their hours. Three, while women are in shelter and we are starting this at Win, let's start a Know Your Rights empowerment civic training classes, so that they know sadly, when they're harassed by their boss, or they're not in a union job and the boss tries to change hours without approval, they know where to go and what to do. For far too long, we have accepted homelessness as a reality of the city of New York. Our government has attempted to manage it, not end it. We have an opportunity now to change our posture as a city and seek to end homelessness, particularly for children and families. And the best way to do that is to make sure mom has a job where she can move up the ladder with the right credentials and the right training and has the daycare and the knowledge to be able to keep that job. People are in shelter too long. Let's seize that problem and use it to make sure they never come back. 42% of the families at Wynn have been in shelters, other shelters, before coming to Wynn. That's a sin. We can stop that by utilizing those 15 months and connecting the dots. Connect the dots is an easy game we ask children to play. We should be able to connect the dots to make sure homeless women can work and never return to shelter again. I just want to thank everyone at the Center for an Urban Future for pulling this idea event together. You could only do it in New York City where people can talk this fast and people in the audience can understand them to have such big ideas in such a short period of time. Thank you.